Xbox just had their first developer direct of the year, and they showcased 5 games coming out on their console this year. We got some updates, some release dates, and some pretty shocking news on one of their biggest games coming out this year. Let's talk about every single one of them. As we go through it, make sure to comment down below your opinions on all of it, what you loved, what you hate, as I talk about it too. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because we're going to react to a bunch more events like Nintendo Directs, PlayStation State of Play, or any other Xbox developer directs they do in the future. And give this video a thumbs up because it helps the channel out. Let's get right into it. Alright, so normally when people react to these kind of videos, they like to go in order from beginning to end, but not this guy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the biggest news that came out of this video, the direct or whatever you want to call it, which was the brand new Indiana Jones games, as you guys can see right here. It is called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It is coming out this year, developed by the team called Machine Games, which I've done a bunch of games in the past, and Todd Howard is actually helping with the game. But the biggest news, in my opinion, and I'm already seeing it on Twitter, big reactions, is that this game is actually going to be in a first-person view. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. Obviously, I think the first thing you think when you're thinking of an Indiana Jones game is Uncharted, and the Uncharted games being in third person, it was probably just an easy, just copy-paste Uncharted, do the same thing, and you've got a winning formula. But Machine Games, known for their first-person shooter games, decided to stick to their guns and go with the first-person aspect of it. They explained in the direct exactly why they decided to do it, and I will say I am quite shocked to the reveal of a first-person. I also, little thing, never watched any Indiana Jones movies. Please don't hurt me. Please don't comment. Please don't give this video a thumbs down. I want to. It's just I've never actually just took the time, but I like the idea behind Indiana Jones. So it's nothing against it. I just never had the time, but I'm probably going to watch them. Here's my thing. First of all, I think the graphics look really great. I love the facial animations. I love what Indiana Jones looks like in the game. I don't know if they announced who the voice actor for it, but I love the voice. I thought it looked really good. And I will say I am very surprised by the first person, but I do think it's going to be good. I have high hopes for this. Very excited to see what they do with Indiana Jones in first person. Now, they did say that for a lot of the cinematic scenes, they are going to, as you guys can see here, transition it to a third person. So when you have like a swinging mechanic or when you're climbing a wall, they're going to zoom the camera out and you will be in third person for those. But most of the gameplay will be in first person. The game is focused way more on stealth and using your lasso and figuring out all puzzles more than it is using weapons to shoot all the enemies, which I really like. I think that's going to fit very well into it. There's going to be a lot of action-packed scenes. I think that the trailer really showcased a lot of potential, but I am very excited and curious to know, what does everyone think? Are you guys excited about the fact that it's in first person, or would you have rather that they gone the third person style like the Uncharted games before? Which, I mean, they're not the same, but you know why I'm comparing them. I'm very curious, but I do think it's going to be an exciting one. As you guys can see, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle coming out this year. So that is a very cool announcement. Quite shocking. Love to hear what you guys think. Now, let's talk about the developer direct itself. I have the whole video here. I'm going to talk about the presentation of it all, and then we're going to talk about all the games. Now that we got the Indiana Jones stuff, I want to talk about that first because I think that's the biggest thing. The presentation itself, I will say, I know they did this last year. I really, really like these developer direct styles. Nintendo have their own unique way of doing things with the Nintendo Direct. PlayStation took them a long time, but they finally figured out how to do a good presentation using the State of Play and their PlayStation showcases. And I really like how different Xbox is taking it with the developer directs. Hearing the developers talk and be so passionate about what they're working on the games has really added a very nice touch to these presentations. Couple little things. I wish they do it more often. You know, they did it only once last year, and this is the first one of the year. I think that the way they're doing it, it should be done more than once a year. If they do this once every 3 to 4 months and every single time they showcase 4 to 5 games, I think that is a winning formula for Xbox to be very unique and stand out in how they're doing their presentation. So I really hope they take this and roll with it for the future, because I really liked how they did it. Gave us a lot of information, a lot of reasons as to why they're doing what they're doing. So I think that that's a very cool way of doing the presentation. Now, this video clip obviously is not showing you at all what I'm talking about. There you go. That's a bit better. The developer's talking to you about the games. I think that it's a really cool thing. So overall, big fan of the developer direct style of presentation. Little thing, I do think that the start of every single presentation when they show a game should start with a trailer. Show the trailer of a game, then go into the developer talking and explaining it. It's a minor thing because they obviously showed off 5 games. Of those 5 games, they did do the trailer style for Indiana Jones where they showed off the trailer, then went into the developer, but that's because the game was brand new. They actually did not do that with the other games like Avowed, as we're seeing here. It started right away with developer talking about the game and then showing gameplay. For someone that's never seen it Avowed before, I think that getting them hyped with a trailer at the start would help a lot in getting people excited, then seeing them talk and explain the game. So slight little thing I think they would change. Outside of that, excellent. The presentation was 45 minutes. Very good pacing. 45 minutes, 5 games. Really cool. I hope they do it. Okay. Talked about Indiana Jones. We talked about the developer direct itself. Let's talk about the other games they talked about. The first one is Avowed. Avowed is made by Obsidian. They are the guys that I'm pretty sure worked on the Outer Worlds and Fallout New Vegas and other games like that. This is their new first-person action RPG similar to like Skyrim, Oblivion, and all that. Like I said, I've never been the biggest fan of those types of games, but this one does look a lot of fun. I like the art style of it. The colors are very vibrant, very bright, which will either make people absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. Yeah, let me try and see if I can show you guys what I mean by the graphics here. Yeah, you can see here that this is a good presentation of what it looks like from the game, but they do have... I want to see if I can show you guys why it was... Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe it was just on my TV because it doesn't look as bright on this YouTube. No, it looks much better here. Okay, so it might have just been on my TV, but definitely looked extremely vibrant and a little it stood out as to how vibrant and colorful it was. You can see it is good, but there is a bit of a darkness to it, so it does look really cool. I love how they explained that you can use a melee weapon with magic. You can use weapons like guns and all that, so really cool presentation, and they did end it by saying that it is releasing this year. Hopefully there's no other delays, but I think that's a very exciting announcement, and I do think it's going to be very exciting to have this game released on Xbox. The second game they talked about is Hellblade, Senua Saga, Hellblade II. Man, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because they have shown this game so many times. We've seen so many trailers for this game. At this point, just release it. And the good news, we got a release date. It is coming out in May. May 21st is the official release. Now, another little slight disappointment in my opinion. They did say in the video, in this presentation, and it is official now on Twitter and all that, the game length is almost the same as the first game. Is that a bad thing? No, I don't think it's... I love short games. I love being able to beat a game within a weekend. The first game was less than 10 hours, and it looks like this one's going to be around the 5 or 6 hour mark as well. My problem was... it's been so long that I thought, maybe it's just me, I thought that the reason it's taking them so long to release this game was because they were making a much bigger game than before, but that's not the case. The game is the same size or length as the first one. So could be a disappointment for a lot of people, but I do think that when you look at the quality, as you guys can see here, of the cinematic, the cutscenes, the way they explain every single combat being its own unique battle and none of it is going to repeat, the story, the 3D audio, I do think this game is going to come out and have a lot of people love it. I do think that it's going to take a couple hits for the length of the game though. So very excited to know what you guys think, if you're excited or not about the brand new Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Then we actually got a nice little surprise where, I don't know if I can get it right on the screen here. We were supposed to have 4 games announced, as you guys can see here. The second one they talked about was Senua Saga Hellblade 2, and this is really cool, right there. So they did like an unknown user guest asking to join, and then when you click on it, they actually dragged and dropped a little video there, move everything else, and they showed a 5th game by Square Enix, which is Visions of Mana. Love that the little surprise they did there. I think it's really cool how they added the animation. I slight little thing, but I'm a big fan of like these kind of animations. But Square Enix came up and showed off Visions of Mana. Another game series I've never really played. I know of the Mana series. I've seen a lot of trailers, a lot of gameplay, a lot of games have released. They even talked about this is the 18th game releasing and the first one to ever release on an Xbox console. but I've never played any of them. And I will say, my first impressions were, it looks cool. Let me see if I can show you guys some cutscenes or gameplay or something. There you go. It looks pretty. It looks like the kind of game that I like to play. This really speaks to me, but this is all they showed. Again, I think it was missing that first hype trailer. Show us a bit of the story, the world. Really, all they talked about in this presentation is the game releasing on Xbox, and they showed about the combat, but they stayed in a little forest here. I kind of wish they showed it just a little bit more in this. I'm sure if I look up Visions on Mana on YouTube, there's probably other trailers or other cutscenes and there's probably stuff, but I wish it was just in here too so I can get to know the game a little bit better. I loved everything they talked about. This guy being the creator of the Mana series, I loved how they explained and how passionate they are about what they're working on. So very excited to look more into it. But like I said, it's all new to me. And this is also coming out this summer. So another game releasing this year. The next one they talked about, I don't have much to say about this, but I am excited about other people talking about this probably in the comments. Ara History Untold. This is a 4X strategy, you play as God game. If you play like Civilization series, I will tell you guys, I've never played any of those because every time I look at this, I am terrified of how overwhelming and how complex it looks. But I will say, the way the developers talked about this game really got me interested in at least giving this a shot. It's coming to Game Pass, so that's always a great time. But these kind of games scare the crap out of me. It feels like it takes over your life. It feels like there's so much to learn and do. I am, every time I talk to someone who tells me they're into these games, I'm always like impressed and surprised. But they look so cool. They always look really interesting to play. But like I said, I don't know if I'm going to give it a shot because I'm terrified that it's either going to take over my life or I'm going to be so overwhelmed that I'm not going to get far into it. But I've always been curious about these games where you get to play as God and you build your civilization. The way they talked about what they're doing unique with Ara, I wish I can help explain it here, but I don't know what's new. They talked about a lot of stuff in it, but I don't know what's considered a new feature or something that's been featured in previous 4X or strategy games. So for anyone that loves these games, definitely check out the Direct because I think that you will probably be very interested in it. I do like that they talked about how they're building this game with gamers. They talked about how they have a insider program where people get to play the game, give them feedback, and they explain how they're using that feedback to improve the game. So I think that's a really cool mechanic, obviously, or not a mechanic, what I'm talking about, development idea to get gamers to start playing, like an early access and all that. So it's cool to see, once again, another dev team who care enough about their game that they are really going out of the way to update the game based on the feedback they're getting. Really passionate about what they talked about and very cool presentation. But like I said, not the biggest game for me being a 4X game. And I think that is everything they showcased in this presentation. Like I said, I think the biggest surprise for me and the most exciting one was probably the Indiana Jones games. I gotta watch the movies. Maybe I'll get even more excited. But I really, really liked, let me get it up on the screen again. Really liked what they showed for Indiana Jones. God, I hope it's good. I do like I'm pretty sure Machine Games worked on the Wolfenstein series, and I really like those games. So I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy this as well. Very excited about it. I'd love to know what you guys thought, what you enjoyed, all that fun stuff. You know what to do. Comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.